Hey guys, Natural Progressive. Uh, I just, I've had a lot going on this week, and on top of going through some physical pain and issues myself, um, I feel the pain of our planet, and I'm feeling um, kind of distraught, a little helpless, and really sad that some people aren't getting how serious our situation is as a species, as a planet, as an ecosystem. And so I just wanted to go over um, just a few of the things that are killing our planet that have started right now as we speak, that are going to continue and escalate immensely. Um, like it's going to keep building on itself and increasing every day. Meanwhile, everyone's arguing about who should be elected for president and who should be nominated, who should you support. Right now, every single person, no matter what your political affiliation is, you should be very concerned about what's going on our planet right now. What's happening right now is insurmountable, is really scary, and if we don't get every single nation on earth to work together, every single human on earth to change their ways and work together, we're going to have a serious problem. We're going to have it anyway. We've pretty much passed tipping points in so many areas that it is unbelievable to think that we can turn it around at this point. But if we just ignore it, keep going on with our daily lives like nothing is happening. And I feel like that's what most people are doing. They're just going about their daily lives and not considering what is actually happening in our planet, that we're going to lose our ability to live, thrive, and survive very, very soon. The science is in. It's just a matter of how much time we have. And that's the biggest argument with all the scientists. But I'm just going to go through a few of the things that I've learned since diving down this rabbit hole. Some of the major tipping points that I believe were already crossed, some of the dangers that we're going to be facing, because I think it's important for people to know and understand and maybe research a little bit more themselves. Don't take my word for it. Absolutely don't take my word for it. But look into it more yourself and judge for yourself. That's what I did, and it's scaring the hell out of me, honestly. It scares the hell out of me. I'm not worried for myself. I am worried about my animals. I'm worried about my kids because they didn't choose this. They weren't a part of making this happen. The innocents, they did not choose this. They were brought into this world of mega consumerism, not living in harmony with nature. It's my generation and those before me that chose this way of life, this mega capitalism that's built on growth, and we can only sustain so much growth. We should be doing things local, growing our own food, not depending on corporate mega farms that only focus on one food source. We need diversity locally for our food. We're going to run out of food. Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm just going to go down this list of things that I've found that scare the hell out of me. And definitely, if you disagree with this, just look up the science yourself. There's plenty of research papers. These are things that are just happening. It's just fact. So these are risks to the human species, and not only the human species, but all life on Earth. Number one that scares me, because I think it will quadruple what's happening right now, is the methane and diseases, viruses that are trapped in our permafrost that is now being released into the atmosphere. the methane that's trapped in the permafrost is way more than the Earth has experienced since human population. It's likely to cause, it's the global warming fuel. It'll definitely warm up the planet. It warms it up faster. It doesn't last as long as carbon in the air, but it does warm it up faster, and it takes like 10 years for it to dissipate. So that's a scary thing. The diseases and viruses that our species and the species around today in the animal population haven't been exposed to before, so they don't have any immunities to. They're being released in that permafrost as well. There's already been some cases with the caribou and deer populations that have devastated populations, poison them, and it can hit humans too. It's just a matter of time. Okay, so ocean rising, that's the one you hear the most about. It's the least threatening. People can always, I guess, move inland, but then you'll have the mass migration because most of our populations live on the coastlines on the east and the west. So when people have to move inward, there's going to be a problem there, and the less fortunate are going to be the first ones to suffer because they won't have the resources to move to higher ground, so to speak. So that's definitely an issue, but it's not high on the list for me anyway. I don't know. I don't live by the coast, so maybe that's why it's not high on the list for me. So extreme temperatures, weather, like, and this goes both directions. It goes extreme temperatures as far as cold temperatures and extreme temperatures as far as heat. We've already experienced that. Australia in their summer, which they're going through now, they lost 100,000, hundreds of thousands of cows because of the heat wave. There was flying foxes, a bat population that was just dropping out of trees. Birds were dropping out of trees. An endangered carp species in their lakes there basically boiled to death. Yeah, extreme temperatures are happening. And then we have in North America, the Arctic blast that came down. That's because of climate change as well. That's because there's less difference in the temperatures of the water where the jet stream is. So it weakens the jet stream and allows it to flow down further south. And then that lets all that Arctic air come into North America. And that's why we're experiencing the Arctic vortex that's going on. It's devastating. Animals can't handle that huge swing in temperatures. People, since they have homes and all that, are fine for now, but when they experience power outages because more people are using their heaters and our power grid can't handle that kind of usage that it's not built for, then we're going to lose power, and then you're going to have deaths. So I believe a lot of that has already happened, but it's only going to get worse. This is just the start. This is the beginning of climate change. So then in Australia, they're losing all the animals because of extreme heat, and then flooding. They're getting extreme flooding that's killing animals and people as well. And when you're getting 140-degree temperatures, that's not livable conditions. It's just not anymore. So there's that problem. So yeah, the flooding, the droughts cause wildfires. So we've already seen what's happened in California. They had it in Florida. Tasmania is on fire. They're not known for their wildfires. Usually they have too much moisture to have wildfires, but now they're getting dry lightning and the vegetation is dry. So now even in Tasmania, which is a tropical rainforest type of environment, they are getting wildfires. So that's dying. We all know about the Great Barrier Reef and the the bleaching of the coral, and oh my gosh, there's so much. if you don't think climate change is happening, you're not paying attention. So the next thing that's going to happen, crop failures. Because of the changing weather patterns, it's not secure now to grow one type of crop in one area, and when the weather patterns change, that crop will no longer do well in that area. So we're going to have huge crop failures, and we may be doing all right now, but it only takes one bad season to dry up a huge amount of food for not only the US but for the world, because we have huge grain, soybean fields that depend on the weather that is standard where they're grown. So when that weather changes and we get crop failures, because there's no diversity of plants, that some may do well, some may not do so well with the weather changing, just the whole crop will fail and we'll be done. So there's that. Yeah, and then water. Clean water is becoming a huge problem. Just yesterday there was breaking news that a pretty big town in Utah, kind of a suburb of Salt Lake City, has now found lead in their water, and it's causing all kinds of problems. This is going to be more and more common, especially since we haven't fixed our infrastructure. We still have lead pipes, and there really is no clean water source. And our population has increased by 26%, and over a year, 26% a year. Totally unsustainable, especially in the second driest state in the country. We don't have enough water to supply that kind of population. So yeah, there's going to be water problems. Last year we were already getting warnings that we're going to have to be regulated on how much water we can use. There's going to be quotas of how much water we can use. So that's already happening. And as you increase the population another 26 or 30% next year, because that's probably where it's going to be here with our state and the majority religion that believes you need to have as many babies as possible, yeah, you're going to have an issue with water supply. There's just no doubt. And people keep moving here as well. So on top of the incredible birth rates. So once you have food and water shortages, the next step is to have war over those resources. So it's going to increase the wars and mass immigration to go to where it's livable, where there's water, and there will be wars. There'll be increased collisions between people trying to fight for those limited resources. So these are problems that we all need to solve together, and everyone is just going about their daily life like there is no issue, and there's a huge issue, and we need to not bury our head in the sand, not pretend that it's okay, that everything will work itself out. It's not going to work itself out. But the biggest problem is, this is my final on my list. There's more. I know there's more, but this is the final one on my list. It's global dimming. So this is like the double-edged sword. If we just cold turkey cut off all of our burning of fossil fuels and all that, even like if we cut it down 30%, and all those particles drop from the air. This is the aerosol masking effect, or global dimming. That will cause a 10-degree temperature rise in the planet, which is unsurvivable. So I'm not saying not to try it. We should definitely. Ever since the climate agreement that was supposed to reduce fossil fuels and all that, and carbon in there, we've increased. We need to stop increasing at the very, very, very least. But I encourage everyone to look into global dimming, the aerosol masking effect, because it's really scary that If we really go hardcore and try to cut all these things down, it may be too late because we've already put too much in the air, and it could already be blocking the actual effects of global warming and making it seem like it's not as effective. So it gets really depressing. It does, but I've come to terms with it. The biggest thing I worry about is my kids and my animals that I'm responsible for, and how hard our life is going to get in the coming years. That is the biggest thing I worry about, and I just want to enjoy what time I have left, and I encourage everybody else to. And I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but this is just facts. It's just the truth, and I really wanted to share what I know, even though it's scary. If you want to look into some scientists that are doing really good work, and I've been listening to them argue with other scientists and debating on how much they should tell people, how much hope they should give people, or if they should just be flat out, this is the case. It's really interesting. It's really enlightening. And me personally, I want to know what's coming. I want to know so I know to just forget about working so hard to build a future that I'm not going to have and my kids aren't going to have. And I want to be able to enjoy every single minute, and it's kind of a gift to just be able to let go of the little things and focus on the big things. And in the meantime, try to open people's eyes to it and see if we can maybe, just maybe, do something that can extend this life, this planet. And if a freaking scientific miracle could happen where they could figure out how to change it, turn it around, then fantastic. I'd be all for that. But we need to get every single resource on this planet on this problem in order to do that, and nobody is paying attention to it. We're just barely seeing some corporate media talking a tiny bit about it, but mostly they're focused on Trump. So, and the stupid wall. Let's get over the stupid wall. And the national emergency, the global emergency is not immigrants. It will be. It'll be part of it. But right now it's not. We're at a 40-year low of immigration in this country coming over the border. So don't talk to me about a stupid wall when we have a meteor coming straight at us, ready to take out our entire planet, and everyone is closing their eyes, closing their ears. No. It's not happening. Oh my God. It makes me so mad because these deniers this whole time are the ones who are at fault for what is going to happen to my kids. It's their fault because they're just ignorant and not paying attention, not listening, or they think God will save us, or only the sinners will go, and Jesus is going to come bring all his followers home. I don't know what the hell they're thinking, but I know my kids and me are going to have to suffer because you denied the fact from... We've had warnings from even back in the early 1900s. There's been warnings of what we're doing to the planet, and but most people are just not listening. Oh, it's so far away. It's okay. It's no big deal. Humans aren't contributing to it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm sorry to go off, but this is super frustrating, and I love you all, even the haters. I'm okay. Go ahead and hate. Go ahead and tell me I'm wrong. You're just afraid of the truth, I guess. I don't know. But, y'all, have a good night, and I'll be back soon. See you later.